one of the stated objectives of the Republic Media Network is to establish a global presence. And when I'm asked about it, why so and why the need, I have just one view, and that is because the hegemony of the Western media has to end. Not because they are Western, but because of their prejudice, bias, their constant fabrications, their attempts at keeping the narrative one-sided, and their toolkit mentality. What has happened in the case of the New York Times putting out a job advertisement asking for a correspondent in South Asia whose prerequisites, it seems, is to be anti-Narendra Modi. And the fact that they actually put this on record as a written job posting is one of those moments when they let down their garb. This is what has happened. And then tonight, we debate.
Now, this is the LinkedIn post. It's the South Asia business correspondent, New Delhi. That's the post. But when you go through the description, that India's future now stands at a crossroads. Mr. Modi is advocating a self-sufficient, muscular nationalism centered on the country's Hindu majority. That vision puts him at odds with the interfaith, multicultural goals of modern India's founders. The government's growing efforts to police online speech and media discourse have raised difficult questions about balancing issues of security and privacy with free speech. Technology is both a help and a hindrance. Essentially, the government's advisor is saying, you take a closer look at this post, and it tells you that they're trying to hire somebody for a hit job against the Modi government. That's what the government advisor is saying, Kanchan Gupta is saying.
Look at how they write, Mr. Modi is advocating a self-sufficient, muscular nationalism centered on the country's Hindu majority. That vision puts him at odds with the interfaith, multicultural goals of modern India's founders. A clear act of onboarding propaganda against the Prime Minister of India and the Indian vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now look at how the NYT job description says, the government's growing efforts to police online speech and media discourse have raised difficult questions about balancing issues of security and privacy with free speech. The willingness to spread a false narrative of censorship and free speech being endangered in the largest democracy is a prerequisite for the job.
A quick look at the New York Times page on editorial standards in ethical journalism. You'll come across words like papers neutrality, and you scroll down and you see an introduction and purpose, and then you see the scope of these guidelines, and it comes to one particular section that talks about reputation for strict neutrality while reporting on politics and government. In particular, no one may wear campaign buttons or display any form of political partisanship while on the job, which is of course in direct contradiction to what we just saw in their job posting.
The top advisor to the I&B ministry has called out this bizarre job advertorial by the New York Times. And frankly, it all adds up. The communalization of the Delhi riots, the mockery of the much-needed and very successful lockdown to break the chain of COVID in 2020, the desperate paranoia over revocation of Article 370 in Kashmir. It is out in the open. The motivated Western media's prerequisites are clear. The cloak of ethical journalism is off. The precondition to run down India is now written in black and white. Masked under editorial integrity is clearly an international plot to engineer sentiment against the democratically elected dispensation in India. Today, will the Western media fans in India cheer this on too? Let's debate.